Hey, it's Kesha. Welcome and welcome back. I have a message today for you on patience and actively waiting and how and what that looks like. So let's first begin by closing our eyes and centering in. Just take a deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in and out. Just releasing the busyness of the day, releasing any cares, concerns, or worries about tomorrow, and becoming more present in this moment. If you feel like you're attached to anything or corded to anything or any person or activity, just release that cord and see it go back to source. And likewise, if you feel like anything is attached to you or corded to you, then go ahead and see that cord popping off and returning back to source. We should be freer and lighter without those cares, concerns, and attachments. Just gently turn your focus inward. Call all of your parts back to yourself, lovingly and gently, knowing that as it's returned to you, it's cleansed through the ethers. We are now free and whole. See a column of white light coming down over you. Breathe it in. Feel it quickening the spaces between the cells themselves. The more you breathe in the light, the more you become the light. With your heart and mind open, gently open your eyes. Less than 2 minutes to get that done, y'all. Let's do it all the time. So what do I mean by actively and patiently waiting? So we've talked about, like, when we're reading asking it is given, we talk about the first step is the asking. We're putting our desires out there. The second step is how it comes to us. That's not our work to do. And then the third step is receiving. When we're getting ourselves clear to receive, there may be some active work to be done. There may be forgiveness that needs to happen. You might need to do several clearing exercises. You might need to get clear on what it is you want to manifest and do any number of those manifestation processes that we've talked about. And once those processes are done, you get to a point where you feel like I'm complete, like I've done everything I can do. You feel expectant and hopeful and excited because you can tell that you're right on the cusp of receiving it. And you're just kind of in this holding pattern while all of those final details are worked out. And right now, today is July 3rd, 2024. The energies of this period have been such that if you've been reading my tarot readings over the last 2 months, you know that it's coming. There's something big that's manifesting. Whatever you've been working on, it's coming. We've done all the work, and all indications are that it's time to relax and receive. But our active, mind, our Western mind, always requires us to do more, to push, to there must be something else to do. And I think we forget that relaxing and trusting is also doing something. But even if you've gotten to that point and you're comfortable with, relaxing and letting it in, there's still the day-to-day, and there's still the mental chatter, and there's still just a little bit of sense of, I could be doing something, maybe I should be doing something. And that's where you're at that stage of, you're patient and you're waiting, but you need to be active. And so it's not idle. You're not just sitting by twiddling your thumbs. So I thought I'd give some ideas about what to do to actively wait to kind of turn the tide, because I think what happens also, and I know I see this with me, I saw it with me yesterday and the last couple of days. You're good at being patient, relaxing for a while. And then a day or two of that goes by and you're like, all right, where is it? Like, I've been patient, right? And then there's a sense of despondency that comes in because you've done all the work. You know there's nothing else for you to do. You've been patient. You've waited to receive. You know you're in the receiving mode. You know it's close, but it's still not here yet. And then because it doesn't show up when you think it does, when you think it might, or you don't get the call that you expected, or any of those things, you start to get a little bit, when is it happening? So that can lead to a crappy attitude for a couple of days, which would take you out of the receiving mode, but you're already so close, so we don't want to go backwards. So I made a list of different activities that we can practice that help give ourselves something to do that also keeps us in the mode of receiving and gets us ready to receive greater. And so I'll just go through the list. They're not in any particular order. They're just kind of the order that they came to me in. And so we'll just discuss them in turn. The first one that I wrote, this is an excellent time to declutter. When we get busy in our day-to-day and our manifesting mode, things, we tend to accumulate a lot. And when we're ready to receive, one of the ways that we create that vacuum and to be ready, physically ready to receive, is to create a vacuum. And decluttering is a fantastic step for that. And if you've already decluttered, because I know, like, pretty much in my house, I'm at my fighting weight. I mean, I've been through this a while and I've decluttered everything all the time, so there's not a whole lot to be done. But decluttering, to organize, just to kind of go through things and just kind of see where you are, what you have. If there's anything that can be released, it's a good idea to do that. Bringing order to a cabinet of chaos is a fantastic activity to engage in, and I highly encourage it. Second to that, and I think this one is kind of goes in with declutter, is I call it the completion activities. When we know we're on the verge of receiving our master demonstration is, just around the corner, engaging completion activities sets up the energy that we are in fact completing cycles. We're completing things. So any of those little to-do lists that you have lying around, any little project here and there that you think, I'll do that later. Now is the time to do it, so that it's not taking up mental space and mental clutter when your master demonstration comes in. Because once the demonstration happens, then you're going to be thrust into a new cycle, and you don't want to carry old outstanding business into the new cycle. So again, while you're in this waiting period, now is a great time to finish those activities. Big or small, doesn't matter. Whatever you can complete, now is the time to do it. So just, if you have your list, just start checking things off. And you will feel better for it, because, while you had the list, or you've seen the pile, or you see the thing, and every time you see it, you think about it. Once it's done, you've cleared space for it. You've cleared space from that. And now you're free to use that energy on other things. Presumably, whatever is going to consume your attention once your master demonstration shows up. So you want to complete activities in the intention of, one, setting the completion energy about you, but also, making space. A really good example of these two concepts I have from a friend of mine. She was fretting about, she knew that some furniture was supposed to arrive, and there were all these variables that needed to come in, that needed to fall into place in order for it to happen. And she was really anxious, and she really wanted this furniture. She'd been waiting for months, and it was finally, she knew it was going to be coming in the next, couple of days of the next week and whatever. And she really wanted it that particular weekend. And I was like, well, if the furniture arrived today, if the furniture arrived tomorrow, would you have a place for it? And she's like, no, I haven't prepared the room for it. I was like, well, you need to prepare the room for it. You need to clean and make the space so that you can be ready to receive. And that was just the activity she needed to do to occupy her mind rather than worrying about when it would come and if it would come. She was engaged in the act of making the space for it. And sure enough, while she was engaged with that, she got the notification that it was on the way and it was delivered the next day, just in time for her to have completed clearing the space for it. That often, that's one example, but that happens to me quite a bit. Let me just, much better. Yeah, so, there are these active things that you can do. The next one on my list, you're probably starting to get, if you're getting a little anxious, a little despondent, a little bit like, where is it? Meditate. It's a good time to slow down and just meditate. And this isn't the meditation of asking, where is it? When is it? It's just the meditation of release. It's the meditation of just getting quiet, right? Because you've already done the asking, you've already done the preparation. At this point, you just need to quiet the mind and settle yourself. And just prepare mental space for you to receive. So engage in, if you're already meditating, maybe you give an extra 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe if you're doing a regular, like say morning practice or evening practice, you do it at an off time. Whenever you feel that little bit of anxiety come in, that's a great time to do that. Along with that would be some tapping, of course, if depending on how strong the anxiety is. But things that just calm the mind and keep you centered and focused would be ideal. The same would be with journaling. I think that's a fantastic activity because it gets all of the thoughts out of your head and onto the paper. Anything that you can do to kind of clear the mind and release that anxiety is going to be fantastic. Along with journaling, I would say, if you're not actively writing, because sometimes it just hits us at, for me, these conversations often happen in the shower and writing isn't an option, but just having an open, frank talk with the universe, tell God your issues, talk about what's on your mind and how you're feeling and, let it run the gamut, whatever it is, just get it out of your mind and off your chest. That can be a helpful way to clear yourself to be ready to receive. Going on walks is great because there's so much to notice while you're walking. It's a great release of energy. Anytime we can get the blood flowing, get the energy moving in our body, what's happening within is also happening without. So if you're feeling like there's a bit of a delay, of course we know mentally that there isn't a delay, but if you're feeling like there is one, walking can be a way to help stem some of that energy. Alongside walking, if you want to engage in more often or more vigorous exercising practice, that's also something great to do. You can never be too fit. Every little bit that you do helps. So if it's taking walks, if it's doing an extra 20 minutes on the mat, do that because those are going to be helpful to you in helping clear the mind. Yeah, I had a note here. You want to stop, basically, we want to stop holding ourselves in abeyance. We want to stop, the holding pattern. We want to keep things moving. And one of the ways we do it is to actually get moving. Another one I have on the list is to smile. Because when we're doing lots of, healing work and meditative work and manifesting, it's very, head focused, and we're working on getting into the heart, and we forget to just back off, and smile. We can't hold two thoughts at the same time. So when we're getting that overly focused and anxious feeling, smiling is going to release those positive endorphins and help us relax and take that step back. You can't be focused and smile at the same time. That just seems a little bit weird, doesn't it? But if I smile, then I'm already relaxed and leaning back into it, trusting. So smile. Another one is rest. Rest is an interesting one because I think we consider, if we're not actively doing something, oh, well, that's resting. But if you're just sitting, kind of scrolling through Instagram, or the shorts on YouTube and mindlessly watching videos and not really engaged, you're not resting technically. And part of that, I think, comes from this feeling like it's hard for us to give ourselves permission to rest. But it's really easy to while away, really waste away 3 or 4 hours on nothing because we think we ought to be doing something, but then we feel guilty about taking a break. And so if we just make the decision and give ourselves permission to actively rest and take a day off or 2 days or whatever it is, then we're not in the middle of, right? We're not thinking we should be doing something while at the same time we're not doing something, and then at the same time beating ourselves up because we're not doing something. But if we make the decision to, you know what, I'm going to take the day off today, enough already, then we don't carry guilt into that activity. We can actually be present in it, and I think that is tremendously helpful. Something else, so again, rather than scrolling through Instagram kind of mindlessly, if you're like me, you have tons of saved posts. Go through your saved posts, see what's still relevant and what isn't. This is kind of like in the vein of decluttering, but it's a social media declutter. That can also be said for unfollowing accounts that you're not interested in, or checking in with the accounts you follow to reach in with them, because sometimes the algorithm will forget to show you accounts that you are interested in. So re-engage with those. That can be invigorating in its own way. So that's something I recommend. Likewise, if you have lots of saved videos on YouTube, I think I have like over 3,000, which is pretty ridiculous. I mean, if I'm going to watch them, I'm going to watch them, right? I should watch them. So rather than constantly looking for what's new, go ahead and start watching some of those saved videos. And if it turns out that as you're going through your saved videos that there's some that are no longer interesting to you, go ahead and delete them. Again, that social media declutter. You're engaging with things that, you had said you wanted to touch base with. You've already put the energy into them because you saved them, and now you're going back and you're actually watching them or deleting them, which is a completion activity. So it kind of touches on all of these things. Yeah, I think that's really all the little tips that I had. Hopefully that's helpful. I know it's been particularly helpful for me. Like I said, yesterday I was kind of in a mood, but then started going through my closet and just arranging and organizing things, and I found a whole bunch of stuff to wear, and I don't need to buy any clothes for any length of time. I have things to wear, and I put on some of those things today, and I'm quite cute, I must say. So yeah, we're doing the do, and now we're doing this video, and I hope it works for you. So leave me a comment, tell me what you did and how it changed your mood. Tell me what you found when you did your declutter. That's always a good one. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.